Denominations. It's one of the aspects of Christianity that seems to cause so many problems. Atheists point to them as evidence that Christianity is broken because seemingly we can't agree on anything. And really, who can blame atheists for pointing out this mess? Because so many Christians use this apparent division as means to demonize and belittle each other while attempting to assert dominance. At times, this leads some to succumb to the grass is greener fallacy that if we could just go back to the beginning, things would be fixed. But as is often the case, this sort of view is based on a misunderstanding of history, which seems like a good way to introduce this clip.
There were no denominations in the book of Acts. They all preached the same thing.
Of course, the book of Acts didn't have denominations because no one was saying, I wonder what Paul meant by that. Because they could go, hey, Paul, what did you mean by that?
Now, I don't think that this is a route that we should go or that it's one that we should idolize. Unity through uniformity often comes with harsh consequences. And in large part, it chokes real growth and innovation. It stifles thought. More than that, though, in this case, it's based on flawed history. While early Christianity didn't have denominations in a modern sense, it wasn't uniform either. When we look at Paul's letters, we see that there are others preaching in this same environment. As 1 Corinthians 1 tells us, some boast that they belong to individuals like Apollos, which tells us that there is some sort of factional idea developing. 2 Corinthians 11 speaks of a variety of other leaders, including some that Paul calls false apostles. Then we have Philippians 1, where Paul speaks of different types of preachers and their motivations. Reading Paul, it becomes clear that there are a variety of differing ideas, and we can't forget about those people that Paul calls Judaizers, who often seem to be a thorn in the side. Paul is just one of the many who are preaching at this time, and while some align with Paul, others don't. It wasn't a uniform movement. And that was one of the reasons why we have the letters of Paul that we do. Because while one could potentially send a letter to Paul with the hopes he received it and responded, which at times he did, other times, Paul would actually feel compelled to send a letter to a church because of the issues arising in these congregations, which he got word of. Some of Paul's letters were written in order to squash ideas that were at times developing because of others preaching a different message. And sometimes, Paul wrote these letters when he was fuming. We just have to look at the Galatians to see this. He can't even bother with his standard thanksgiving here, and he just launches into a rebuke because the foolish Galatians were deserting him. So the problem that we have today with the division and sects really isn't nothing new.
I get it, denominations aren't biblical. I keep hearing that, but what's the solution?
While denominations may not exactly be biblical, they do have a basis within the earliest movement. This is an issue that has been present since the beginning. It can seem very disheartening, because how do we actually fix this issue that has been present for nearly 2,000 years? What's the solution?
But I have never heard anyone give a practical solution to what we should do.
That's kind of the rub here. What is a practical solution? It's a problem that has torn Christianity asunder, and at this point, there's no piecing it back altogether. But maybe that was never the solution. Maybe the solution is more of a pluralistic view. The acknowledgement that there are many denominations, and that's okay. That variety doesn't diminish Christianity, but adds to it. Because after all, different people need different things. Instead of seeing the division as a problem to fix, maybe we should embrace them instead. Instead of trying to insist that people worship like us, we accept that others find God in their own way. We don't need to force people into a certain mold so that they can claim to be Christian. We can allow for differences because people themselves are different. There's no one-size-fits-all here. This proposition can be difficult though, because it means that there is no one option. It removes the possibility of simplicity and demands that one accepts that this whole faith idea is just so much more complicated. Because no longer can we be of the view that I'm right, you're wrong. We have to reject the either-or mentality and adopt a both-and view. That both your view and mine are valid. Most importantly, though, it means that we have to be willing to stop talking and instead truly listen to other sides. In doing so, we can all learn a bit more and grow within our faith. And if you'd like to do exactly that and have these open discussions, give me a like, give me a follow, and we'll continue having these conversations in the next video.